that you and Marc were like good friends. I didn't know that. Well, that's nice. 100%, like I'd never fallen out of love with you. I had just put it over here.
Jennifer Lopez and Marc Anthony's. The relationship is really tense, particularly since their divorce. As Jennifer pointed out, he was never her life's love, and it appears that Marc possibly finished with the manner Jennifer represents herself in the public eye since reconciliation with Ben Affleck, particularly considering that their kids must watch it all happen. It appears the connection between Jill and Marc has grown to such an extent that Marc's unfavorable sentiments toward Jennifer have even affected her professional life, as she had a difficult casting process for her musical movie, The Most Romantic Tale Never Told. Jennifer stated that she had been rejected as a star by numerous celebrities, but the worst rejection in the film was made by Anthony Ramos, who rejected her due to her status as a relationship with Anthony. Marc Jennifer appeared to have an extremely tense talk with Marc over the rejection of Anthony Ramos, who was ideal for the part she had in mind, him when Marc and Jennifer got married in 2004, only 5 months following her and Ben Affleck's breakup produced a lot of conjecture about the reason why the two of them chose to go so quickly and whether Jennifer was over or not. Marc and Jennifer then went on to have Maximilian and Mem's twins in 2008, but the partnership wasn't meant to last, as the two chose to split up after just 3 years later. They decided to get a divorce, authorized in 2014, and as a result of the two chose to remain with their children, acquainted with one another. In addition to could it be that they both did not encounter many difficulties when moving from one another either, and despite this, co-parenting their children it was evident that there was an irreparable divided between the two of them. Jennifer continued to have been dating a Rod for 4 years, 2017 to 2021 period, which concluded with leadership turning back to face Ben Affleck once more, as the couple married in 2022 at last. Marc, however, married model last year, Nadia Ferreira, and the two have been a happy couple ever since, but it seems that Marc may still be able to sentiments of hostility toward Jennifer for returning to the man he was said to be a rebound, since he did not attempt to assist Jennifer with her film. As per Jennifer, Marc was the primary cause of, according to her, Anthony had rejected the part. Anthony Ramos intended to carry out a man from the Heights, who he was scheduled to join me in performing the rebound number, The Glass House, and he replied, I'm buddies. Jennifer wanted to cast with Marc Anthony in every scene from her comeback, which showed a poisonous connection between Jennifer and the prospective partner, dancing in tandem while being pulled by ropes, collectively inside a glass house that breakers all around them. This was obviously an incredibly significant time in Jennifer's life that she desired to deal with the most. That's why the person portraying her cared. Having a partner was crucial to her. In a scene from the film, it is evident that Jennifer is incredibly displeased that Marc is the cause of their relationship failed, and she is now even observed attempting to convince Anthony into preventing it from separating them.
You and Marc were like good friends. I didn't know that. Well, that's nice.
She went so far as to say that, given that the film centers on her life, having 2 kids is really important. A portion of it and her father, little ones, would always be included in it, but the persona would not be. Specifically, Marc in the film.
He's the father of my kids, obviously. I'm never gonna do anything that's going to really pinpoint him out.
He continued by calling the entire item extremely meta and declared that it's all a part of her 20-year voyage from her and her record, which is the reason the film is meant to convey an emotion instead of any real-life occurrence, she said the item. The game you're playing is an example of numerous partnerships rather than just one particular relationship while making an effort to comfort. Informed him he wouldn't be portraying her former spouse, much to Jennifer's dismay. Anthony was not going to change his mind, and she appeared to be very irritated, given the circumstances that she discussed. How the film would differ greatly. Not even from my real life am I playing myself. This story has a protagonist, a woman. Who makes this journey? Anthony is similar to. Yes, I believe that individuals will believe you are aware of how the media is said. But if we just focused on our artistic thinking concerning what the media will say. Thankfully, what the heck are we doing? Jennifer was able to locate an appropriate Anthony's substitute as a dancer. Gilbert Salver replaced him and came to an end, up performing a fantastic job as he succeeded in bring Jennifer's vision to reality easily, even though he wasn't her first choice. Decision, apparently, Jennifer had genuinely felt that this movie was inappropriate as Marc's action was just one among the disappointments she was forced to face, given that she truly had multiple scheduled celebrity appearances that didn't succeed, like Taylor Swift, Khloe Kardashian, and Ariana Grande. But Jennifer appears to have recovered. Despite everything, there was one thing she never seems to fall short of what her determination has gotten her through numerous such challenging circumstances, but she was still able to obtain a few very well-known names for her film, like Jane Fonda, Keke Palmer, and Sofia Vergara. But Marc and Jennifer, Anthony and his partner have definitely had some previous highs and lows as well. So it wasn't all that shocking that she found herself in this predicament. Truth, it appears that there are a number of those who think Marc has consistently acknowledged that he has fallen short of Ben Affleck since the two of them first jointly examining Jennifer's book, Love from 2014, she discussed more than just how Marc and she split up, but also how their meeting took place in the first position, and it was extremely startling as she made the decision to reveal some sincere realities. Jennifer actually entered extensive information about how heartbroken her concern was Ben leaving her and entering into a second relationship was the only method she was aware of for handling the anguish of losing her life's love. Jennifer has a history of making comparable actions from previous partnerships as well. None, though, were as severe as this one. She composed, I parted ways with Ben at the instant I believed we were going to commit forever together. It was my first actual heartache. It seemed to be my heart had been ripped from my heart. And when the understanding that I wouldn't possess the family from a fairy tale I desired truly took hold, that's when I truly began to unravel at that point. Continued discussing Anthony's gate at the perfect time to enter her life, since it seemed to be a sign from the universe given that she only saw him as a few days following her scheduled wedding. Ben, it truly seemed like a sign from God to her, so she didn't think twice about it to dive headfirst into a fresh partnership, despite the fact that she still cares. Flo and her former partner Marc had already originally from 1999, which is why it was so. She could easily determine that this was perhaps considering it to be the ideal moment when she wrote us and someone got away, believed that everything was located here, was meant to show us that we were meant to lead, to finally come together despite all the pain, and my recent breakups pain couldn't have been in vain. Perhaps I should have endure the difficult times so I could ultimately, with the individual I was supposed to be with. She had always called it destiny, particularly after she acknowledged that she truly had to have faith in something at the interval since her actual situation. The circumstances were just too challenging to manage. She insisted on being with Marc, and entering her life was crucial. She had to distract herself from the hurt. As she spoke of him strolling with her heart on his sleeve, arms spread wide, and the two actually proceeded to have some of the ideal household life as they welcomed the world with their twins. But as we know that he wasn't the appropriate person today to escape when Ben made his second appearance in Jennifer's life completely enthralled her. Interview with SS. The Jennifer 2.0 hero was a real one. Books as if everyone was speaking at once regarding their get-together and how they were soulmates destined to be together in the end, which is why it's not a major surprise. Astonishment that Marc thought he was receiving disdain, and as a single fan, cited what Jennifer has said herself. A few items that appear offensive, as an interview had her facing Marc, demonstrating that having Ben right now is her first experience with true love, and delighted. I'm perplexed as to why wasn't. She was nearly married to Marc Anthony. After a decade, she gave birth to her twins by. It seems strange to him that Ben is the one who educated her on love and has transformed her. Love unmatched, but not for her children in the union that gave birth to them. Specifically, the reason why many suspect Marc was forced to feel bad for Jennifer, particularly because she desired to incorporate him in the film intended to depict her affection for Ben as opposed to her real family, which includes Marc and their kids. Jennifer hardly acknowledged her at all. Children in the couple that gave birth to them certainly appears to be a good excuse to decline to assist, which is why fans. It is not the fault of Marc and Anthony to remain distant from the project. In actuality, it appears that Marc may harbor a lot of bitterness toward Jennifer at all. After their split, Jennifer's public, even having an impact on their children. Sources claim that Marc is extremely worn out of the antics Jennifer consistently pulling, since it is his responsibility to tell their children why their mother is frequently mentioned in the media, purportedly quite finished with Jennifer's attitude and the way that she appears to only consider herself, which may also be the reason he had no desire to assist her. Depict a skewed portion of their connection through one of his close friends. What are your thoughts? Anthony Marc is legitimately angry with her. Please allow me to learn below, and don't neglect to see this other video for additional drama, music,